This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, and welcome to the Sunrise Safari, where because it's an hour earlier, the sunrise seems very far away right now. My name is Jamie, and this morning Gendre is behind the camera for the first time in quite a while. I don't think Gendre and I have been on a drive together in, well, a fair number of days. I can only suspect that he's avoiding me totally. We're coming to you live from Djuma Private Game Reserve, which is in the Greater Kruger National Park area of South Africa. Not just the Kruger Park, the Greater Kruger Park, because of course it encompasses a number of different areas without any fences between them. Because this is a live and interactive safari, that means you can send through your questions on #SafariLive on Twitter, or in the comments section or chat section or whatever you call it of YouTube. You know, that thing on the right, and it all scrolls very fast and I can't keep up with it and tend not to try. I always feel a little bit like an airline pilot at this point. It is a balmy 22 degrees centigrade at your destination, or our destination. Can't remember what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's somewhere around the 70s. So all in all, we are very excited to be out at this time of morning. I actually really am. I love early mornings. It's my favorite time to be in the bush. Leaf, not chameleon. Because there's all sorts of exciting things happening as the animals, both nocturnal and diurnal, start to wake up after the hour of the dead at around about sort of 2 to 3. Everything goes to sleep and then everything starts waking up around about now. So we'll have the drone up in a little bit, off to search for exciting things. Did that scrub hare just leap? Oh, of course nope, sorry, Gendre. This one's playing hard to get. I suppose playing hard to get is the essence of being a scrub hare. You don't play hard to get, then you're dead. Which way? There were lots of alarm calls on quarantine last night. The guys went out to see if they could figure out what it was, but they didn't find anything. Left or right? I would let you vote, but you'll take too long. So I'm going to go right and do the whole of Zoe's Road. Apparently there was a leopard sawing at the dam cam. That would make absolute sense. The unfortunate nature of the positioning of the dam cam and the time of the morning is that if one happens to find oneself as a guest at a lodge, one generally doesn't appreciate brightly lit Christmas tree cars driving past your room at terrible hours of the morning. So we unfortunately cannot go check there until everybody wakes up. Nor can the drone fly over there, because equally offensive would be bzzz, as you are slowly dredging yourself from the depths of slumber. I'm just going to do a quick check for tracks. Always tricky in the morning, in the creepy gloom. All right. So apparently, no, not apparently, I did actually know this. We all live in the same camp. I'm not the only person out here. Sydney has headed towards the north. Let's go and see if he's found anything.
A very good morning, and most of all, welcome to the beginning of the morning drive. This is Sydney Fumurani Mikosi, and I am traveling with Craig, who is my camera operator this morning. We are looking for some cats, and hopefully we will see them this morning. And for in case if you need my attention, you can follow us on Twitter, #SafariLive. You can also follow us on YouTube chat stream. So I've got to get my spotlight on now, as it is still very much dark here where I am. It was drizzling earlier on, and now it's fine. So in this area where I am, I saw some fresh tracks yesterday of the buffaloes here. So that's why I want to check. Maybe we might be lucky with the buffaloes or any other predators after the buffaloes. Somewhere here, the buffaloes, they went past yesterday. So those buffaloes, they came out from one of the neighboring properties, which is where the Unkuhumas were. It's clear that the Unkuhumas got in there a few days ago following them because they came out of that block. It's very much quiet at the moment. Not even a lion roar here. David by the Masai Mara is already lucky with the elephants and he is waiting to show you.
Hello, Jumbo everyone, and welcome to this side of Africa, which could be a little bit warmer or much busier than Juma, as Sydney just said. My name is David, and with me on camera is Bungay. Buongiorno Bungay, come stai? Tutto bene? Well, it's a cold morning, and 18 degrees Celsius, 65 degrees Fahrenheit is the temperatures we are talking about, and it's very good. Excuse me, it's just a fly that decided to go to my tummy, but of course I threw it out. And we are very lucky to have started with these elephants here, which is a nice herd of about 10-15 elephants together. And you can see that youngster just looking at us and maybe wondering how come me and Bungay are out this early. Well, as I said, it's rather cold morning, 18 degrees Celsius, 65 degrees Fahrenheit. I got about 4 layers on. Bungay, how many layers do you have on? 5. Bungay says 5 layers, well, I've got 4. And what is interesting, these elephants do not have any extra layer on their bodies, which shows why they are designed in a way that they are able to change to accommodate any weather of the day. I'm sure Jamie and Sydney already told you or reminded you that we interact a lot, and should you have any questions or comments, you're more than welcome to throw them or ask us, as usual, hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. Now, that elephant, I'm looking at him, and he got like a tone. Yeah, I can't see very well, but it's like the left tone, the left ear has a little tear. The left ear has a little tear, yes. And he looks to me like a big boy. He looks like to me he's a male. I'm looking between his front legs. I cannot see any mammary glands. And the head looks to be a bit rounded. I could be wrong. But from the size, he looks like a male because he is massive. He is big. I'm not sure, Bungay, if you look between his hind legs, whether you can see any genitalia. Not very sure. You can put a bit of panning there. But I thought, yeah, he's definitely a boy. Bungay, do you agree? Because I'm looking between his hind legs and I'm not sure his penis is out. Or I could be seeing grass that looks like it. I still, again, could be wrong. It's still very early here. It's about 5:35 or 5:40 in the morning. And that is the East African time. Quite early. Not sure even, yeah, it's definitely a boy. Yeah, he got his genitalia out, or is it one of the other calves I'm seeing behind him? Not very sure. Good morning, sir. I will call you sir. We had some very good showers last night. So if you look at his half of the trunk towards the ground and his legs, they look a bit dark. That shows we had some rains last night. And looking at the soil chemistry of the Mara, you definitely know we have the black cotton soil. And that's exactly how he'll be looking at, or he'll be looking like. In the background, albeit being a little dark, Bungay is showing you the Olar escarpment. And this is the very big plus of the camera that Bungay is having. It's such a wonderful camera that can pull these alleys and the Olar escarpment pretty close to your screens for you to see. There's definitely a tiny young calf there. And as usual, Ellies will always keep the babies in their midst. They never want to take any chances. Currently, most of the animals the lions will be going for are gone. And what we've been seeing the last few weeks or so, lions have been taking chances of anything they can catch, even baby elephants. I got a friend of mine, oops, there's a very tiny baby there, thank you, Bungay. She's just walking in front of the mother, so small. She almost disappeared in the grass. I'm not sure whether that's the other brother or sister next to it. And slowly learning how to feed. One day she or he will be on, be on its own and must learn the ropes very early from the mother. This is the grass you pick. This is the grass you avoid. If you see a frog in the grass, don't touch it. Some of the frogs could be poisonous. If you see snakes, don't eat them. Well, these Ellies have done or have warmed my heart to start my morning, and I think Jamie Patterson could have found herself something interesting in Juma.
I found something interesting, and the reason that David doesn't know what the interesting thing is because I'm not sure that Nina knows what the interesting thing is either this morning. And to be entirely fair, neither did I, for far longer than I feel comfortable actually admitting. So at first I thought it was a giant hairy caterpillar. Then I thought perhaps it was some sort of bizarre foam nest, but I couldn't figure that one out because we're on Zoe's Road. There's no water anywhere. It wouldn't have made sense. And if the one on the left there hadn't opened its eyes, I don't think I would actually try and ask you to guess what this is and send your answers through in the usual way. You know, that old hashtag SafariLive on Twitter or in the comments section of YouTube, which is, of course, where you can also send through your questions. Don't forget that. How cute is this? He's absolutely adorable. It looks like the longest bird in the world. It's just a really, really fat bird. Its eyes on the left with its little beak, and its body, it's been overfed like something out of a cartoon. It is so cool. I actually don't see that all that often. So what this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 helmet shrikes, all packed together on the branch of a bush willow, slowly bobbing about in the breeze and having a little snooze. How sweet is that? I wonder if they get motion sick. Probably not. I assume that birds are far more accustomed to the type of movement that might cause motion sickness than we are. It must be like being on a boat, on a stormy sea. I wonder if they manage to sleep at night when it pours with rain and the wind howls. I actually did do that a little bit about an hour and a half earlier. The storm hit. Now, of course, I have a roof on, which makes filming such things particularly difficult. And you see, the thing is that Jandre said to me this morning, it's clearing. And I said, no, it's not. We're putting a roof on. And Jandre said, no. Which I understand, because it really is quite awkward. That was my exact Jandre impression. But you want to know something really awkward? I can see the stars. And that is why I always say I'm the world's worst weather predictor. I always get it wrong. I really thought it was going to pour with rain. Goodbye, little birdies. You have to be awake in an hour, less than an hour. Shame. I was very cute. I don't think we've put something like that on camera for quite a while. It reminds me way back, not way back, we saw something similar on a training drive a good 6 months ago, and what was the response? It was something hilarious. Something like it looks like an owl or something. It's very disconcerting when you first see it. It's just your brain can't quite wrap itself around what on earth this bizarre setup is. Oof. I hope the drone hasn't gone wandering off to sort of Buffelshoek Dam side, because Sydney and I are both in the west. Well, there we go. You don't have to hear about the drone from me. You can hear it straight from the mouth of the commander herself. Trishala is ready to say good morning.
Yes, good morning everybody, and I am Drone Commander Naidu for the morning. I always love saying that. It makes me feel like I'm this militant drone commander. Well, in fact, I am still a novice at it. But Seb and I are doing well this morning. Now you can see Seb's legs. Say hello, Seb's legs. Hello. Yes, and we do have the drone in the air. So we're going to have a good look around the reserve and see what's happening. Now, you do know it was a little bit rainy last night, and everything does look a bit quiet, but we see a few antelope, and of course we see lots of termite mounds and trees as well. And there's even some lightning coming through the back. There you get to see. So there we have some antelope, and can you see the heat signatures from those trees as well? Very, very cool. I think this technology is marvelous. Sometimes you might even notice that some trees are warmer than other trees, which is actually quite cool, I think. It's quite cool, but it's warm. There we go. So some trees actually can raise their temperature. Like if you look at the tree that's straight at the bottom of your screen compared to the one that's in the middle, the one in the middle looks a lot brighter. And trees can actually increase their temperatures to a degree. Especially if they have some sort of infection or anything like that, they can almost create a fever. So that's also interesting to see. If we see a really bright tree, that's probably what they've been doing. Very cool. So we are going to check the dams or the watering holes around. We've just done that one. There you go. And this is towards the south of our reserve. And this one is called Treehouse Dam. So the next one we're going to go visit is Twin Dams. Cool. Well, hopefully we'll be able to help everybody and vector them into some really cool sightings. But in the meantime, let me send you over to Sydney while I keep searching.
The jackal. So I have got the small predators here, and these small predators, I can just see the eyes from very far. And I think from here, maybe we might see them much better. I can see in the middle of those grasses there. It looks like jackals. So you can see there that there is something right there sniffing the air. Is showing that they is doing some kind of investigations there. Maybe that is a jackal. It looks like the jackal. And somewhere next to that one, I saw something else again. You can see how this animal is moving the ears and the head. This is a jackal. And here, where we are, there's quite a lot of impalas and a lot of scrub hares. I've seen that while I was driving in just now. So you can see the reflection of the eyes there. So these animals, you can easily see them from the reflection because they have got a very thick reflective membrane which is at the back of the pupil, which helps to reflect the light, which is like a bright carpet. Yeah, there we go. You can see there's another one somewhere here. You see there. There's another one there. It's not a good sighting. So, but I can see they are right there. What I'm going to do is I will have to reverse and see if we can approach from the other corner, as I can see that there is an accessibility to get there. Maybe we might improve the sighting and make it better. So the jackals now, they are still very much active. In the mornings is when they're still going up and down. So there is a little entrance here, little road going in there. And these jackals, they are very territorial, because here where we are is an area where I have seen them a lot. Every time we come to this area, I do see them. I just don't want to shine my spotlight very far, because I can see the impalas are still very relaxed and I don't want to disturb them. Here is where those jackals are. Yes, right, it's somewhere here. So you can see that these jackals, they are together, as the other one now I can see is somewhere deep in those tall grasses, where that one is moving to now. Now you can see that these jackals, it looks like they are looking for something to eat. But you will see, normally they go also for the small stuff. Their droppings mostly is consisted of the hairs and the feathers from the birds. So they must be looking for the rats there, because that is something they eat the most as well. It is not a good sighting. Let me just now try and move on and see if we can find something interesting. Maybe we might find something more interesting than the jackals. So now let's go back to Jamie. She is busy now looking for the tracks.
Happy news, exciting news, and bad news on the same hand. These look like very, very fresh leopard tracks that I've got here. The bad news is that I've A, driven over them where they should have gone. It's hard to see in the dark. And B, I can't bring the drone in here because it doesn't quite reach this area. But somebody's come and sprayed urine on this bush. Why can't I smell it? I should be able to smell it. Sorry, I put the pole right in the way. Sorry, Chandra. But I'm just trying to get a good idea as to freshness and whether or not I should follow this or stay within drone area. These are fresh tracks. This happened after the rain. And the rain happened at about... What time was it? Probably... Yeah, about an hour ago. This has happened after the rain, but now what have I missed? How did I miss a leopard on this road? Okay, we're going back. We're going back. These are too fresh to ignore. Sorry, tree. Do the one-handed turn. Probably into a tree because I can't see behind me. We're good, we're good, we're good. Cool, thank you. So I think it's Hukumuri. Judging by the size of those tracks, it doesn't look like Shitulu. Or a female leopard in general. I just can't believe I can't smell it. But maybe the moisture on the tree dampened the smell. think he's gone off in here, off to the west of us. Because, I mean, look, it's entirely possible that I missed him further up. But if he walked on the road for a length of time, eventually my brain would have caught up with me, or caught up with my eyes. And typically we drive around so much. It's a skill that we're constantly working on. So we drive around so much that we can actually see tracks without consciously looking for them. No, they're here. They're going this way. April says, let's go look for leopards. Yep, I agree. Good plan, April. Good plan. April, if you were a leopard, which way would you have gone? To give you a frame of reference, I'm on Zoe's Road. That doesn't really help you. I'm on close to the western edge of Djuma. And this is quite a popular route for leopards. And what they usually do is they cut. You see, if he came south, he's not going to cut back, I don't think, to Philemon's cut line unless he was hunting. But he's not hunting, he's scent marking. So I'm going to take a guess and go and check around Ballanite's area, Impala Road, that side. I do have to be on sort of standby for if the drone calls me in, but let's see if we can do a quick search around there. A leopard in hand is worth 2 in the bush. Of course, chances are I'm going to be able to get wherever the drone happens to be very, very quickly because we've covered less distance here. David, however, has got to do some serious driving in the Mara.
Well, that's very true. And what I have been seeing for the last few minutes, I've seen 3 different species of animals. I have seen a spotted hyena that decided to go in the grass, and then Bungay spotted a savocat, but the savocat was in such an awkward angle that you couldn't see it. I'm sure you all know the grass is very high now. You're doing about 5 feet of height of grass, and a savo would be like maybe 1.5 feet from the ground. And we have been seeing lots of night jaws. None of them just waiting for us, to put them in frame. As soon as we get close to them, they're just flying away. But I'm still very hopeful using my spotlight. You're going to see something interesting. Well, elephants, buffaloes, giraffes would come in very handy at the moment. And I'm sure you all know we have been struggling to get the cats because of the tall grass. Well, currently we have very bright moon. It's so bright. The moon is out, it's full moon, it's clear, and there isn't any tiny, bit of cloud in the sky. It's the sort of moon, if Bungay is going to get a very good angle at one point, would like to show you. And we used to call it the poacher's moon. Poacher's moon way back, because that's what poachers used when they would go to illegally hunt some game for some obvious reasons. Now, back in my village, when we would have such bright moon and lots of stars in the sky, we would call it the girl's moon. And we had like 3 different categories of girls. When the moon was all out, full moon and very bright, and lots of stars, we had the category of girls who were very, very beautiful, because they would want to come out to show themselves to the boys, and the boys would see, alrighty, there. And then the second category of girls would only come out when the moon was out, but not with, stars, because it was a bit dark. And those girls, we used to call them like 50-50. They weren't sure of themselves. Then the third category were the girls who thought, we don't want to come out because you never know what the boys will think. And that's when there was no moon and only the stars. Try to see whether you can get hold of this nature here. Bungay, if you see right in the middle of the road, we might be lucky to get this particular one here. So let's see if we'll be lucky to put her on frame if she doesn't fly away. Very good. Yes, and this is how the birds have been seeing for the last couple of minutes. But I think this one is cooperating with Bunge's camera, and she is not moving. So this is a nightjar, and I'm sure you all know, Jamie, Sydney, Trish, much I've told you, we are all in infrared cameras because everything looks in black and white until we get daybreak and the sun shoots up for us to go to color. So these birds will always come out in general at night only to feed on certain flies that will be, also out. And mostly these flies will be in an open area like this, not definitely where there's much grass. And I would say that's where she is. They will always open their mouth and it's got some whiskers, which they will use to grab as many flies as possible. You can see how large the eye is. It's very conspicuous, and most nocturnal birds, and even animals tend to have very big, large eyes to be able to spot their game, but also at the same time to be able to spot their enemies, because we've got owls that will also be coming for them and feed on the same birds. So the big eye, apart from getting prey, it also takes care of the predators. I've always thought, they would have some warm substrate. The soil is a bit warm there, so she's also warming her feet as much as she's waiting for flies on the ground. Now, if you look on the toes of this particular nightjar, that I would guess, not very sure, definitely, it's very difficult to identify nightjars even during the day. I'm only guessing this could be a mountain nightjar, and she flies either to get something, that she goes to the grass. And when you look on their toes of the farm, they've got one left one, I guess the left one, the second one, that have a little comb, very special, which they usually use to groom themselves and just to align their feathers, which is always very important for most of the birds to do that, to keep flying and just looking neat. She flew. We are very lucky to have seen that one. And is to keep moving. Very good. It's not only me who has a bird, because I think Jamie has gotten her own bird. Right, Jamie?
This is a ridiculous morning. For some reason, my eyes are clearly only out to spot little birdies before the sun comes up and they go about their day-to-day insect catching. Look at this. It is the tiniest little thing hiding behind a leaf. Just his little eye. Now, obviously, for those of you that don't know, we're not shining any light on this bird. So we're using infrared light. It isn't disturbed by a bright pool of white light. So it's a tiny chin spot batis which would fit into the palm of my hand, and in the brief flash that I saw with my spotlight, it's a female with brown round its collar. But a quick question, and I should have thought of this before. No, look at the way it's going back to sleep. It's okay. I was a little bit worried. For a second, I started to wonder about whether or not birds see infrared. I actually don't know. And I know we researched this when we started with our infrared lights, but we're quite close to it, and I don't want to sit for too long on it and disturb it. Although it's gone back to sleep now, so I do feel a little bit better. I was starting to worry slightly that it could see the infrared light being shone on it. So cute. When I say it's a tiny bird, really, it would fit into the palm of my hand. It's hard to give you a frame of reference without getting out of the vehicle and scaring the poor little thing half to death, which obviously I'm not going to do. It's had a long enough night as it is. You're sleepy. You're too sweet. There's probably a male around somewhere here as well. Chances are, towards the end of the breeding season, they make these adorable little cup-shaped nests hidden in trees. I don't see. I see, yeah. I'm looking in the light of using the thermal camera. I'm actually looking at just how clearly it stands out on the edge of a branch. My goodness me. There it is, a bright patch in a sea of otherwise temperate trees and grass. And I suspect that the little warm patch up and to the right of it, I suspect is the male. There's a good chance that it's the male. Here we go. You can have a look and see. Bright little patch of a chin spot batis. Warm-blooded, of course. Well, that's not the right word. Endotherm. But warm-blooded works for the purposes of this conversation. It's warm. Very cool. Okay, little bobbing chin spot batis. I don't want to disturb you for too long, so we're probably going to leave you and go searching for hukumuri. I think there's a good chance that this little chin spot batis really would like to just grab those last few moments of sleep. You know what it's like. Someone wakes you up just that little bit too early, and then all of a sudden you can't get back to sleep, and you could have had that extra 40 minutes of dozing time, but someone's woken you up and you're absolutely furious. In my case, on Wednesday morning, it was because I left my drone alarm on. So please, everyone, if you could remind me for tomorrow morning that Jamie needs to turn off her alarm. Or not turn it off, but shift it forward an hour. Sweet. Okay, let's leave this little guy. Or girl, in this case. Leave it to its sleep. Right, I'm looking for hukumuri. I'm hoping I'm not going to pull a Steve and miss out on hukumuri before getting a fright seeing him. All right, while we search in the darkness using relatively basic tools, we of course have some more advanced ones at our disposal. Let's go and see how the drone search is going.
Yes, well, we did hear that Jamie has got some leopard tracks around the west down Zoe's Road. So that's what we're doing with the drone. We're going to have a quick look around that area in the western part. Hopefully check that block. Now, it's always easy on the roads if there's something to see in the car, but it's so difficult in the block, especially with all this thick vegetation, and even to get through, especially in the darkness. Because my goodness, is it early in the morning. All the animals are being very civil and have decided to actually be asleep at this time. So we are in this block at the moment, and we're going to check around because potentially there could be a leopard sneaking about. Here we see some hotspots in the middle of your screen there, but those looks like some antelope. You can actually see it quite clearly. The shape of their body, the ears, the horns. Firefly, you'd like to know how high up the drone is? Well, at the moment it says 51.6 meters high off the ground. Yeah. So fairly good. Neat little contraption, don't you think? And it's quite amazing how you can see each spot there. You can see a spot at the bottom there, more antelope. But it's really bright, so it just speaks to how much heat we all produce as mammals. What would be really cool is if we saw a croc or something like that and see how much heat he has retained overnight. Seb, you can turn to the west just a little bit. It's your right. More groups of antelope down there. Look at that termite mound. See how obvious that is? You can actually see the little holes. Check that out. Very cool. Okay, Seb, if you turn a little to your left, you'll hit the road and you can follow that down. Chad, you ask if predators only hunt at night. I think that's what it was. Well, we do in fact have nocturnal predators, which are the ones like leopards and... do they hunt more at night? Well, you see, the benefit of nighttime offers you a lot more cover. Yeah, you're going well, Seb? It offers you a lot more cover. It means that you have the darkness to help you, especially if you're an ambush hunter. That really, really assists you, because you are kind of putting all your eggs in the fact that you're going to scare or surprise your prey, as opposed to running it down. So that is the benefit of the night, and that is what it can offer them. So they do tend to hunt more in the evening. You would have seen it with lions, with leopards. As soon as the sun goes down, they're a little bit more active. Yes. And also know that they have adaptations to assist them with this. They can collect a lot more light in their eyes than we can for this very, very same thing. Okay, so we are, like I said, checking around that block where Jamie had seen the track, and we will continue doing that. In the meantime, let me send you over to David, who's looking for some lions.
Fantastic, Trish. I would want to believe using a drone is such a technology, because if the tracks Jamie had seen will help Trish using the drone to be able to get some cuts, it will be just exciting this morning. And I'd guess the very first thing, should I happen to go back to South Africa in Juma, I'd be very happy to be trained on how to work and use a drone rather. But since morning I have not said or given my plans for the day, and I thought today I'll not say my plans, because I've been saying I'm going to the Sausage Republic, and that has never changed. It's just 3 days ago when I did not do that, and what I did, I went to a different area because I saw a different pride of lions that is called the Salt Lake. Got some eyes there. Are those eyes too far, Bungay? You know, give them a shot. I got some eyes somewhere. I'm not sure what eyes they are. We just want to give Bungay a chance. Do you want my spoilage first on there? And they look like cats to me. I could be wrong. So let me first talking about, oh no, sorry. They are toppies. Good morning, toppies. And yeah, I mean, as usual, the Sausage Republic is always my destination. So, I was saying 3 days ago, I bumped into a different breed of lions. I think I was with Manu, that's called the Salt Lake. And I thought, if the sausages are going to remain elusive for the next few days, at least we have a plan B of another pride. The only reason why they have remained elusive, I would say, is because the tall grass. I spoke about that much earlier. And most likely the last person to see them, I think, was my friend Lauren. So I could be very lucky if we see them today. And the sausages have such a wide territory, and most likely what they've done, they have kept maybe shifting the territory because of food, and that's why it has become rather difficult for us to spot them. We are not giving up. We'll keep trying every day we go out. Sorry, Lou. Ravinda asked what existed before. I'm sure you're going to pick that question again for me from Ravinda. Ravinda, I think the question is, have antelopes with spots ever existed? And I guess that's your question, Ravinda. And if that is your question, I would say no. Not that I know of, Ravinda. I haven't had or ever seen of any antelopes with spots. Not really, not really. I mean, if we look at an antelope with spots, no. We'd have, say, striped antelopes. If you look at oryx, we got a particular type of species of oryx here that we call the basa oryx, that have like different colors, black and maybe white, or black and a bit of gray on their faces. But spotted antelopes, not that I can think of. Not really. The only thing that I would think would have spots in, that's not a cat, could be only the okapi. I'm sure, Ravinda, you know the okapi that are seen in DRC Congo, half zebra, half giraffe. But antelopes with spots, not that I know of. No, not really. And of course, I know, you know, how human beings would like to try things out. We don't know what they'll be thinking. And although I don't think there's a possibility of crossing, say, an antelope with a cat, but I don't think that would happen. Not that I know of, Ravinda. I don't know that, Ravinda, because I'm sure you're an expert in wildlife. Whether you know of an antelope outside Africa that would have spots, I would be very happy to know. But I would be, you know, happy to hear of an animal like that and maybe even see it, even if it's not a photograph. All right, just drawn up again, as I said, Sausage Republic is my destination. And the best thing to do is to keep going there every day. You keep going there until you see them, because, I mean, those lions will not go anywhere. I was there yesterday in the afternoon, and I saw 3 different sets of buffaloes, and food is there. And I was comparing the sausage girls to the Nkuhumas in South Africa, being very good specialists of bringing down buffaloes. Not sure you told me to link away to someone, Lou. I'll be happy to get that take again. I just look through the grass here to see if there could be any eyes. We're gonna keep searching for eyes in the grasses there or here, but in the meantime, we'll take you back to Sydney as he continues his search.
I am now checking these areas here between us and Buffalo's Hook to see if the predators are not coming towards our property. But so far, I only saw the evidence with regards to the buffaloes crossing towards the neighboring properties. I am not seeing any of the tracks of the big predators coming back towards our side. But that does not mean the predators are all in the neighboring property. There must be some here by our side, as I heard earlier that Jamie also spotted some of the cat's tracks. So I'm just checking this area between us and Buffalo's Hook, and also between us and, oh, I saw some ice here, us and Buffalo's Hook, and us and the Torchwood. You can see there's some animals there. I can't see what exactly those animals are, but I have to quickly go there so that we can see. Maybe it's something interesting. I just want to check if it's a prey animal or predators. So this area where we are, normally we see the water bugs. And sometimes we do see the impalas. Oh, these are the impalas here, right in front of us. So the eyes, I saw it was for these impalas. You can see there's 2 impalas there, all males. So when the impalas are chewing, you can also check if they have quite a lot of stress due to predators around, or it's just normal? So when these impalas are chewing very quickly and then without any pressure, you must know it means there's no problem. But when they're chewing and listening, you must know that they're under pressure. It means they are not settled. Something must be somewhere around. So you can see that when they are ruminating or when they are eating what they have eaten before, they can just keep going. But when they stop, then you must check. If you find them not doing the rumination process properly, you must know that something is around, and then you must start checking. But here now, I can see they stopped ruminating and they are just investigating because we are here. But because impalas are much more active during the day, I don't want to disturb them. I am leaving them in peace and see those who are active during the dark. So when I saw the eyes, I thought maybe it's one of those. So now let's cross over back to the Masai Mara.
Well, it's always nice to watch impalas because you never know if there could be a leopard lurking somewhere close, and that could be exciting for Sydney to spot a cat at this morning. We saw elephants before, I'm sure, as you all remember, and I stopped here because I saw some very huge bulls, and I thought, why are there so many bulls in one particular area? And because there's a huge herd. If you look to the left, thank you, Bungay, for showing that. There are a few cows there and they're youngsters. And my guess is there could be cows here that could be in season, and definitely you'll get the big boys coming close to the cows to get some mating rights. And that must be what is exactly happening here. Light is getting much better. Well, not that we had bad light, but it's getting much brighter with a minute. And you see, the elephants we saw earlier were rather dark, and it was also much darker than it is now. I have always thought anything in black and white, to me, looks wonderful. Anything in black and white. I mean, be it a tree. When you see those painters, when they'll always paint any drawings or any graphics that will look, black and white, I've always enjoyed seeing that. Now, seeing these elephants, to me, they all look like black and white. The Ellis looking black and the surrounding looking white. It's having a poo break as he moves, and that's definitely a huge boy. He is a huge male, and definitely that calf is not very certain of that male, and she's moving away towards the mother most likely. And that is very good framing there, Bungay, having the trees and the Ellis there. These trees are what you call the torchwood trees. Very iconic trees in Serengeti National Park in Tanzania and the Masai Mara in Kenya. Now, because of the low temperatures, you notice the Ellis are just either grazing or feeding very slowly without flapping their ears, and that is a clear indication how cool it is. Bungay, there's that one male a little left that to me looks very huge. I'm not sure you can frame it. He looks massive to me, like even he got a hump. Exactly, many thanks. Look at him. I mean, by any standard, he reminds of the males we used to see way back, because there were certain, generations of males in Africa that were large in size, huge ears, huge long tusks, and unfortunately some of them we lost them to poachers. But you'll always see once in a while in a herd or group of Ellis one massive male. This is one of the largest males I would say I've seen for the last few months. And they'll be having the mating rights. If there'll be any female here in season, he'll be definitely the right candidate to mate. So the whole idea now is to keep eating the red oat grass. And you can see how high it is, the grass. It's like almost touching the tummy of these ellies. So uproot some, keep moving, and I'm sure all the muscles of the ears are being rested, because later on in the day it's going to be very warm and those muscles will be very active when they'll be flapping them the whole day. And how quiet it is to be here. So very peaceful to these elephants. Sure, we all know this is the African elephants. The herd spreads all over, as Bunga is showing you, coming all the way to the right. And I'm imagining there, most of those ones there are cows and their youngsters. And you see in the background there could be some signs of rain later in the day. That look of clouds is what I've always deduced. Thank you very much, Bungai. That's just beautiful framing there. Elephants, buffaloes, giraffes would be our best bets to spot in this type of grass. Earlier, the topies that I thought the lions weaving through the grass, but they just turned out to be topies. I'm looking at this herd, and it could be anything to be like 50 ellies or 50 plus all together. That's the males and the bulls, the cows and their youngsters. And I'm sure there's so many youngsters in the grass that I cannot see them very well. Very good, very good. So we need to move now, and I'm trying to imagine how things look from up there with Trish in the drone.
Well, no need to imagine. Here we have it. A beautiful ellie. How spectacular is that? You can see the big ears. Oh, can you? I think it can actually hear the drone actually responding to it. And there you got an impala in the top right of the screen now. But look at this guy. So much heat. Something's definitely irritated it. Might be the drone. What is this flying above me? It doesn't sound like a bird. This is really interesting, because can you see that the legs seem to actually dissipate more heat than the rest of the body? And then the inside of the ears, you can see that, and even bits of the trunk. Very cool. Now we are checking this block, which is even more to the west, which is of course in old Hukumuri's territory. Good old Hook. And very close to where Jamie had seen those tracks. Yeah, you're going correctly.
Keep going that way.
Yep, keep going in that direction. So you can see it looks difficult at first to actually spot something. But you can see how clear all of the animals are. Bob, you say that elephant looks like he's trying to sniff the drone. That was my thought too. It was kind of a half sniff, half swat at the drone. Cool, Seb, you're doing fine. You can see all of the bushes and the trees. Bits of warm spots in between. So there's lots of scattered things, scrub hairs and other such that are around as well. Nice, Seb, just keep on going. Cool. Now we're actually going to hit the power lines kind of area. So if you turn a little bit to your left, you'll avoid it. Left more. More. Cool. Now you can go straight. And now we'll be heading towards Impala. So we often get some interference, especially around the power lines and things like that. It's just trying to avoid it. It's cool, hey? Very nice. Well, we're going to continue to check this block. And if we find anything of interest, we will definitely let you guys know. In the meantime, let me send you over to Patrick in the Masai Mara.
Well, what a world we live in, hey? That's drone technology. Very, very exciting stuff. A very cool innovation. My name is Patrick, and joining me on camera today is James. We are here, just like David, in the Masai Mara Game Reserve of Kenya. Please do interact with us throughout the show using the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter or the YouTube chat stream as I drive into this beautiful sunrise. It's a chilly one this morning. There's a real frost in the air. I should have bought another jacket. It's kind of going right down into my bones. Yeah, I was expecting it to be quite a bit warmer, seeing as we are in the middle stages of an equinox right now. But still keeping the mornings quite cold. So I have a set route that I want to take this morning, but I don't really have any plans animal-wise. So I'm just going to take this kind of route that I have planned out in my head and just see what I can see. There could be cheetah, there could be lions, there could be antelope, there could be buffalo. Who knows what is going to come up? Maybe an alley or two. But I will, a bit later on, still go and check in on the Owinos. Anyone who has been following along recently would have known that I haven't had any luck finding them. I've only been finding males in their territory, namely this one male who Nikki and I yesterday were trying very hard to identify, and we just couldn't put a face to the name. It wasn't an Aldonio and it wasn't a Kichwa male, so yes, it's at the moment an unknown male. Where it's come from, what its background is, well, that is a bit of a mystery. And then, yes, the 4 suspected ulululos I also found, young males. None of them looked really much older than 2 in the area as well. So I just want to keep on checking in that area, but I will be making my way up there in due time. Coming down towards my favourite little spot in the river to start with. See what I can find around there. Ooh, gee whiz. So the only way I'm going to be able to keep warm is to keep on chatting with you all. So please do send in all your questions and your comments using the hashtag SafariLive to keep my jaw swinging. It's cool to see Trishala manning the drone, or manning the drone, should I say, this morning. Cameron hopes that I find Busara. So do I, actually. She did, was it yesterday morning? Yes, it was yesterday morning that she got a successful kill. And Lauren went down and saw her as she was trying to fend off all of the vultures surrounding the kill. So a lone adult cheetah will generally hunt every 3 to 5 days. So I'm not confident whether she will hunt again this morning, but still it would be nice to check in on Queen Bee, see what her movements have been. I am kind of coming up to where she was last seen. And again, I am also keeping my eye out for a lucky rhino. It's grasping at straws a little bit, but yeah, it's always worth keeping an eye out, because I know that there is plenty of you watching along that would love to see a black rhino just as much as I would. That is on the checklist as well. But as I said, just going to take things as they come a bit for the first part of this drive. Unka wants to know, do I have a shuka? No, it is in the other car this morning. James is dipping in. Oh, James to the rescue. Here we go. I should have thought of this earlier. See, this is why I need you all to interact with me, because sometimes I just can't think for myself. Thanks for having my back there. Ah, much better. Much, much better. Thank you, James. Ooh, that is immediately toastier. Quick fix. And it's green as well, my favourite colour. Hopefully it gives me the luck of the Irish. To be sure, to be sure, to be sure. That wasn't really a great Irish accent, was it? Alrighty, well, let me traverse this area and see what I can see. And in the meantime, I'm going to send you to Jamie in South Africa, who is still on the hunt for hukamori.
I'm feeling a little bit first. Oh, hang on. Standing by. Go ahead, I'm standing by. Okay, copy. How far along? Copy, copy. I'm on my way. I'm coming along power lines. Whoop, whoop. Yes. Sorry, I just realized you can't hear the game drive radio. Jack's found him. Woohoo! And because we were tracking him, we are going straight there. Because we put them in the right position to go searching. So we checked here, they went a little bit further up to where his tracks were going. Good morning, little bunny. Let me switch all my lights out. There you go, so you don't have to panic. Good little bunny. We're very close. I'd like to say that we probably would have found him, but that would be a lie, because my plan was actually to go all the way along Impala Road, and which is the road that runs along the western edge of Djuma, and he's just a little bit further east than that, so I would have actually missed him if I hadn't had help. Well, you never know, he might come this way. Morning, Impala. Sorry, can't stop, gotta go. Leopards to see. The hukamori. Maybe he'll take us to Shadulu, you never know. I've never seen Shadulu. Never. She seems to have a special bond with Trishala. Trishala seems to have all the Shadulu luck. Chandra, have you seen her?
The Dulu?
No, not the Dulu. Shadulu. No! The Dulu is not allowed to become a thing. Linda says Feline Friday is saved. Was it in jeopardy? I mean, we're only an hour in the dark. But yes, absolutely. Feline Friday has been saved. Hukamori is just waiting for us on the road. and we're very excited. But I can't go too fast because there's a lot of very big bumps in the road. They are not speed bumps, but they serve that purpose as well. They're actually for water erosion and the runoff that comes along a road. And they've got such a great name, bolsters. You do feel bolstered as you go over them. Raise your spirits or lower them depending on how fast you hit them and if you knew that they were coming. Especially for the cameraman flying around in the back there. Vroom, vroom. He walked pretty fast, considering. All right, we're going to catch up with the hook. It won't be long while we do that. I don't know who I'm sending you to, but I know that whoever it is will surprise you with a bird in a tree.
Very good. Good luck, Jamie, with the Hukumuri. Hopefully you gonna see that ever-looking, beautiful, handsome boy. But now we got a different... we got a different bird. We've been seeing a lot of nightjars, and now because it's daybreak, we got a different bird here that I'll maybe request all of you to tell me who you think this one is. Tell me who you think this one is. I'm sure we have been seeing it we haven't been seeing it for quite some time. Neither have I seen it myself. Let's find out. Hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. Who do you think this is? My guess is some sort of goshawk. So which goshawk do you think this is? Hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. I'll also be taking my book to double confirm that. She looks a bit fluffy, and that could give me a bit of confusion. So I'm sure you'll be telling me. So keep watching it. So I've given you a clue. Is a goshawk. Excuse me. So just want to get my book also and be very sure what I am talking about. And definitely some kind of raptor. Very, very good. That is pearl chanting goshawk. Very well done. I would say you are an expert. And apparently there are two of them. And that is a male and a female. Very good. That's a pearl chanting goshawk. Very well done. Me and Bungay have given you high fives all the way from Kenya. Excellent. We always see them in ones. They're always very solitary. And to see two together, I think that is very special. Could be a mating pair. Who knows? You see how fluffy they are. Just because it's still very cold. And they're on top of a torchwood tree. Hello there. Or Balanitis aegyptiaca. Once in a while, you get them getting small reptiles to feed on. Insects too, once in a while too. Excellent. So we're going to leave these goshawks there and move on, because this is just wonderful temperatures to get some cats moving somewhere. Just like Jamie was saying, she could be racing to find out if she could be lucky with Hukumuri. We also need to move and also find our luck with the sausages. Beautiful lights now. We are all in color and all looks perfect. Bunga, you happy back there? Excellent. Very good. A lot of elephant poo on the road. They tend to keep coming on the road. I'm wondering how many elephants could be in Serengeti now, because every few minutes we are bumping into 20, 30, 50 ellies. And just very quickly, I just want to stop somewhere because I think the light is good. I don't know how far those alleys are. The ones we saw a few minutes ago were about 50, and before we show those elephants, I think Jamie have got some surprise for you.
I do. A surprise. Oh, I don't know how much of a surprise it was. I definitely told you what we were on our way to see. It is Hukamuri in the early light of morning. And you'll see that there's other vehicles as well in the sighting. They're responsible for finding him for us. The taxi is just going to drive up in front of us, and he is going to appear very shortly. Yep, there we go. There's his head. Make his way towards Hukamuri. Don't you panic. We'll keep up and we'll just keep swapping along as we go. I have a bug in my left eye that I got while I was driving and appears to have decided that it likes it there. Well, that, and it met its sort of watery end. And it's very stuck and it's quite sore now. I'm going to try and just get us to... I hope he just sits down for a second so I can get it out. Doo-doo. We're all very excited to see the hook. He's very, very busy this morning. He's scent marking. He's definitely on a mission. Thanks, Orbs. Oh, owie. Getting worse. I've made it worse rather than better. It gets to the point where you scratch your eyeball and then you don't know if it's still in there or if it is just eyes going up Aubrey's. Perfect. Perfect. He's going to go scent mark that bush. I'm going to have to park quite close here. Here we go. Sorry, Jandre. Here we go. He's going to scent mark. Hello, boy. I like you. I really like Hukamuri. I always have a thing for the underdog. Since he was immediately sort of badly received when he first came in here as a potential threat to Tlalamba. I think he's just... I like him. I like his looks. He looks like a thug. He really does look like a thug. We're just going to have to play leapfrog for a bit, so bear with me. Don't worry, when we can get a good view, we will definitely be able to show you him properly. So while we do the leapfrogging, we're going to send you across to Patrick, who has braved the cold. Brave, brave man of the Mara, to find you some lions.
Can you feel the love tonight? That song was just playing in my head right now. So we have come across two lions here who I can only assume are a mating pair. It's a lone female and a lone male. And I just came across them sleeping together here. I think I'm going to stay with them, see if they do get up to some mating. So it does look, I think this is going to be a Kichwa male. Obviously, they have their back turned right now, but considering where we are and the fact that just ahead of me here, there is a second male, I think that this may be the two Kichwa males. It's a bit hard to tell at the moment, but there's defining features with each of them. One of them is missing a bit of their tail, and the other one is missing a canine. So I was looking to find some lions down here, and yeah, I'm just going to stay with them for a little while just to see if they do end up mating. But whilst I stay and watch, see if they get jiggy, let's go across to David and see what he's looking at.
Well, yeah, you got them very flat there, Patrick. Come here, we got some very active birds, and they're doing something I would not call a mating dance, but what you see them doing is just jumping up and down, and look at that. And these are the Jackson's widowbird, and they jump up, down, and then they mat a particular place on the ground there where they would make a temporary nest, which they have used once in a while for mating. Look at that. And look at their long tails. Isn't that cute? Quite synchronized. And these are the males and not the females. And they'll always come when the grass is quite tall like this, feeding on the grass, but also they'll be cutting it to make some temporary. Look at that. This is just lovely, eh? Then they will mat it, and the females will be coming to inspect and find out how good nests they have made. Bless you. How beautiful. So it's up and down, and they have these very long tails, which the females will always prefer. So again, that's the Jackson's But look at them when they flight, wings opened. So that's exactly now matting it, or putting the grass together. Of course, the bit of gravity plus the mass or the weight of the bird. Yes, I would request maybe all of you to tell me, if you can, tweet me one word, #SafariLive, of what you think this is. A few of you have said this is amazing. And I'm saying, you know, this is something pretty special to see in the morning. And Bungay is doing the best he can to catch up with his Jackson birds as they fly up and down. And again, yeah, #SafariLive on Twitter. And tell me, what do you think of this kind of behavior of these birds here? Excuse me. So they have to keep going. Okay, the one that just landed in there, that was the female. You saw she looked small and did not have a tail. That was a female. So the male has a job to do. He got to make a nice house. He has to please the girl, and the girl has to be happy with that house, and then they'd be able to mate there. If she is not happy, he has to make another house. So that's what the boy is working very hard to excite and please the girl on some nice, you know, kind of accommodation. Could be the girl is happy now. I can't see them. Not sure whether they are mating or not. But if she is, yeah, he is still there. You can see the male. Maybe he got some final touches. What did Lee say, Nina? Excuse me. Hoo la la. Okay, Lee, you say ballerinas. I agree with you. That's a very good comment. Many thanks. Keep sending them through #SafariLive. Tweet one word on what you think this kind of arrangement between these males and females. And the one bird you see jumping up and down there is a male, and it's called the Jackson widowbird. And he's just trying to excite the female by making some very nice nests on the ground where they would be able to mate. It's got two there, and there's one female on the side, and the female did not look as colorful, as bright as the male. Isn't this cute? I would guess in my next life, should I become a different animal and maybe a bird, I would want to be a Jackson's widowbird. That would be very good. Would be able to cover a much audience. Hello, Jumbo, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Mara Triangle in Kenya. We got some very special sighting here of particular birds that we call widowbirds that are jumping up and down. And my name is David. On camera with me is Bungay. Bungay, how are you? And what these birds are doing, they're just jumping up and down, and they're making themselves a nest. Now, we call them the Jackson widowbird. And what you're seeing, that one there, it is a male. It got a very long tail, if you look at it in proportion of its size, and they go up and down. If you look in front of that particular one, there's another one just moving. See that? And what he's doing, he's making himself a nest in the grass there on the ground. And once he makes a nest, we'll get a female coming by and finding out how the nest look like. And if she is satisfied and happy, they are going to mate at that particular part or that particular nest. It's very special to see them do that in this long grass. And this long grass is what we call the red oat grass. Ivy, it's like they're on track. I would agree with you, because when you see them jumping up and down, you see like they have a particular mission on what exactly they are doing. So this one, I think, he's just warming up a little bit before he starts to do the dance again. So after making the nest, then he has to excite the female by going up and down. You see that one on the left there? And then one female just landed there. And I think she is happy with the nest that was made by the male before. And once happy, they'll settle down there and they'll be mating. So we're in the Mara Triangle in Kenya, and this tall grass is what will be brought down by the wildebeest when they come down here, maybe in the next 3 months. But before they come, we'll have all these widow birds taking advantage of this. We have widow birds, we have widers, and they'll be feeding from the seeds of these grasses. But also, as I said, they'll always cut or just mat the grass in the ground to make some nice mating nest for themselves. So we have that one still warming up, and I'm sure he'll start doing the dance again. Karen, you say this is fascinating. It is very fascinating. And I'll tell you, Karen, now one thing you have to notice, we all know that for the birds' kingdom, the males tend to be more good-looking or more colorful than the females. These particular species of birds, they got very long tails, and the long tails tend to hinder them from flying. As you see that one jumping up there, Karen? See that long tail I'm talking about? Oops. The best thing for me is just to keep quiet and watch. How lovely. So I was talking of the long tail, and the long tails become like some encumbrance for them when they fly. They tend to struggle to fly. Then these birds, wow, nice. They become very popular with the females, because the females will reason that if these birds or these males can make it flying long distances, they can feed themselves. They're definitely solid. They're definitely strong birds. So ideally, they'll have very good genes, and the females will always mate with them. And that makes a lot of sense. Bungain, do you see that one there? Sorry, to just... I'll wish you there. Ravinda, good question. I would say they're using both wings and legs to jump higher. Look at that. They're jumping like the local people here that we call the Maasais. Very good question there. Very technical question there, Ravinda. And I would say they're using both. When we do dances here locally, like the Maasai people, they use their legs and they spring like 2-3 meters above from the ground. So here what I'm thinking, Ravinda, they're using both legs and wings just to give them that upward thrust to go upward. But of course, coming down, they're coming down because of gravity. How special is that? Either now they have slowed down a little bit, or we have still one jumping there. Wow, this is very exciting. Whoop. So I think, Ravinda, yes, it's both legs and the wings so that they can just pick themselves up against the gravity, and then coming down, I think, is easy peasy, just coming down with the force of gravity. Well, ladies and gentlemen, many thanks for having joined us on that very exciting moment. And don't stay away. Keep an eye. We might be sending you other notifications very soon, should we get some other exciting sightings like this one. Very many thanks for joining us. And don't forget, we'll keep showing you more sightings as usual on the YouTube. Well, regular viewer, welcome back. And I have not left this particular spot. My destination was the Republic, but I saw some very exciting sighting here of these Jackson window birds, up and down and up. And as they keep matting their nest on the ground there to excite the females where they would be able to mate. And this is a very good sighting. I think I may need to move, otherwise I might spend the whole day here and forget about the lions. Let's go to some lions now that are maybe a bit alive and moving.
What a very cool sighting there, David. And I'm hoping that we can get some cool stuff here. So the lions did just get up. I was hoping that they were going to start mating, but there was no displays from the female and not much interest from the male either. So it can be initiated by the male, but most of the time you'll see the female displaying by facing her back to the face of the male and then waving around her tail in front of him and her behind. But it looks like they have just gotten up to move at the moment. So female lions are induced ovulators, and all this means is that they will not spontaneously come into estrus, or not generally. So there has been a couple of cases. I've read studies where one study actually with 5 females, and one of them spontaneously ovulated, but the rest were all induced, and even the 5th one did also reach induced ovulation in the end. And so that just means that they need, it may not be the copulation itself, but perhaps the social interaction with the lion or something sets off estrus once they are linked up in a mating pair, and it will last for generally 4 days. You'll see lionesses in estrus. And there is a little bit of pre and post estrus as well, and if there isn't a successful fertilization of the egg, they will come back into estrus. And I've read it's about 3,000 copulations per cub that survives past 1 year old. So that's a lot of effort for a little reward. I can just hear some alarming, some impala shouting. Yes, spring has sprung with this couple. There is love in the air, although not really showing it just yet. So the female did get up and move, and the male was following. So I definitely think this is a mating pair. It's just going to be a matter of waiting around until the magic happens. But it seems like it wasn't an impala, it's this a topi out here has spotted the lions and is shouting at them. See, we might not be able to hear it. I'll just stay quiet for a little bit just to see if we can pick up on it, but they are a bit far away. Might be a bit too far off into the distance to hear, but it was a real kind of... That was actually not too bad. It's the first time I felt good about my imitations of animal noises or accents or singing or anything like that. But yes, so the topi has picked up. I think it's looking at this male lion ahead of me. So I haven't actually seen mating lions out in the Mara yet. There was a period in Juma where there was a bit of love all around, and there was a few, well, I think there was 2 or 3 mating pairs, so there was plenty of it to see. But as most of the prides have dropped a lot of cubs lately, I kind of missed the breeding, but there is a little bit more, obviously, to have here. So they don't really have a set breeding season. It's synchronised, though, in a lot towards the start of the rains. Let's see if we can get a good look at this male here, see who he is. I'm pretty certain, though, that this is the Kichwa males. Kichwa meaning head. And we are right near as well the Kichwa airstrip, which is where we sometimes come to land. All right, well, we will sit here and wait with these potential mates here and see what does unfold. Let's go check in with Sydney, see how his search is coming along.
I have been trekking since this morning, and I could see there's quite a lot of tracks in the area for Unkuhumas. I am around the Chitwa, and so far I have got this very beautiful and majestic animal lying down. I have got these beautiful giraffes. Unfortunately, the giraffes cannot lie down their head. If this giraffe lie down the head now, the blood is going to flow up to the brain and disturb the sense of balance. And as a result of that, he is going to die. So the giraffes don't really have a vocal call. You will hear them giving some snorts and some growls. Oh, one of them is also doing some cleaning on the other side. You will see these giraffes, they only talk from behind the ears. If you look at those ears, you see the bright color behind the ears. When the giraffe is walking, must have to spread the ears so that the other ones can spot them from there. These animals communicate via eyesight. The whole body is camouflaged except behind the ears, which is left for communication purposes. Look at those beautiful spots. So the giraffes, if you can check, each one of them has got its own spot pattern. Those spots are not identical. They are more just like our fingerprints. So to distinguish between the male and females, we must have to check the horns. If we see that the top of these horns has got hairs, it means it is a female. When the top of the horns is bald, it means it's a male. In fact, the giraffes does not have horns. What we are seeing now is something which is called an oxycones. A horn is consisted of a keratin and a bone. An oxycone is consisted of a bone and a skin. What we are seeing now is a bone and a skin. This is a female. I can see that on top of the keratin, on top of the oxycone, there is some hairs there. And the oxycones are very much thin. For the males, they have got broad oxycone. So you can see the beautiful line of hairs behind the neck. Maria, they don't really spend much time lying down. These animals are some of the animals which can be able to eat or to feed for about 18 to 20 hours. So they only use approximately 2 hours to rest during the day and another 2 hours sometimes during the night. But most of the time, they spend it when they are feeding. These animals are not that very water dependent. They can go for about 2 weeks without drinking water at all. They can just urinate a very sticky urine to keep the moisture as much as possible. So that is amazing. So don't get surprised. I am not alone at the sighting at the moment. I do have the other vehicles joining. A group of giraffes together is called a journey of giraffe. And if you don't want to call it that, you can also call it a corps of giraffes. Some, they call it a kindergarten of giraffes. You can see that one is very much tall. So the giraffes, you will see them, they live in families. They don't stay in big herds. You will find them, sometimes you can find them more than 10. It depends, but they don't live in herds and they are not territorial. So this is a family of giraffe. So the males, in order to advertise themselves for mating, they secrete a very distinctive smell. So you can pick it up from a long distance. That smell is the one which helps them in order to convince the females for mating purposes. So I can see that the one which is now lying down there is concentrating a lot. The ears, now they're flattened. He's listening a lot. This is quite a very beautiful shot. Thank you very much, Craig. Look at that. So you can see now this giraffe is ruminating. Imagine when the giraffe is ruminating, taking all this material from the stomach back to the mouth. That must be something difficult. From the giraffe here in South Africa to the giraffes in Masai Mara, David is also lucky with the giraffes.
It is interesting because earlier I had some elephants, and I think we linked to Trish, who got elephants in the drone, and I thought that was quite exciting. It's even getting more exciting now that Sydney had some giraffe in South Africa to other giraffes in Kenya. But I think Sydney had the southern giraffe, while here we got the Maasai giraffe. Either way, still something pretty cool to see different maybe subspecies of or different species of giraffe, because the Maasai giraffes are quite different from the southern giraffe, and that one there that's just moving in the midst of the magic Ngware trees. And giraffes being browsers, they'll be getting the very top leaves or twigs from the trees, but any other time you see them bending and eating anything on the ground, there'll be something special plants. What did you see there? Giraffe? Not sure that's a Mr. or a Miss. Boy or a girl from, I would just guess, most likely it could be a girl. And if it's a girl, she got a little biggish belly. I would guess she is pregnant. The tallest animals we got in the whole world, you can see them in comparison to the height of the trees there. So by going down like that, doesn't mean she is feeding on grass, but definitely some plants. Not sure I can remember having seen giraffes eating grass, unless it's very tight and dry for them. We got certain browsers like kudus once in a while. They'll be known to eat grass as much as their browsers. See how tall they are. Sarah, giraffes are very good in defending themselves. When you're asking what are their defenses against predators, Sarah, number one, I would say, giraffes are not very fast runners. I'm sure we all know that. They may, sprint a little bit, 20, 30, 40 meters away, but because they know they would be very easily cornered. Sarah, what they do, giraffes, they kick very hard. They kick very hard, and I would say that's the main defense for giraffes. I mean, they are big. Just to bring them down is quite a challenge. Sarah, we have seen even lions, not one or two would be easily be able to bring a fully grown giraffe down. It could be like 3, 4, 5 of them. But I'll tell you, I have seen a giraffe kick a lion almost to death, and they would easily, crack a skull of a lion. So I would say kicking is one of the best defenses. Of course, naturally, giraffes are tall animals, Sarah, and from a distance, they would be able to spot predators and move away from them. But of course, if cornered, they'll just have to kick and kick very hard. Well, I think I've done well the giraffes in Sydney and myself. Just need to move and enjoy these cool temperatures and light to see if we'll be lucky to see the sausage lions. There's a lot of dew in the grass, so I'd imagine if we see them, they could be in an open area or just in the middle of the road. I mean, cats in general do not like water, and I'm sure they would not want to be wet, so they would be out somewhere in an open area, or maybe on top of a summit mount enjoying the sun as it's warming up now. So this is one area Bungay is telling me they saw a leopardess a few weeks ago, and I thought I'd also chance if you're lucky to see the same. Maybe not this morning, but it was good. Either Bungay, thank you, we have seen the giraffes. Alrighty, lions, where could you be? Where did you go? And if they've changed position, is only for one reason: food and getting close to prey. And I'm talking of mainly buffaloes, because that's what they've been feeding on for the last few months since the wildebeest left. Very, very good. And Jamie, you need to tell us what's your latest update about Hukumori.
I do need to tell you what my latest update is, but you see I'm reticent to do so for fear of broken hearts and shattered dreams. So while you were watching birdies jump up and down in the Mara, which sounds amazing by the way, we lost him. Oh, hold on. We're about to encounter a vehicle who's doing what we're doing, and hoping that he is about to pop out somewhere here. So he disappeared into, for those of you that know the roads, into the area between Aubrey's and Sandy Patch. And we're all just sort of looping around Sandy Patch in the vague, desperate hope that he's going to pop out. But it's looking highly unlikely. He's probably settled in a marula tree there. Thanks, guys. Which is, of course, exactly what we wanted him to do when the sun was rising and it was beautiful. The sky was all pink. And Jandre was desperately hoping he was going to provide us with an epic sunrise shot. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at Aubrey. Hi guys. I'm going to keep checking just down further towards that big game path.
Okay, because we're exactly where
The line.
So, let's see. Probably lying on his back next to the mud now.
I'll bounce up for Tiller access and then back here. Cool. Thanks, you too. Give me a shout. Okay, teamwork. There's now 4 vehicles on this one road. Now, Joe's wondering, she's just heard a story from David about the time that the lioness kicked... Oh, my goodness, sorry. Whew. Game drive comms and everything happening in my brain. David told you the story of the lioness that was nearly kicked to death by a giraffe. Now, Joe's wondering if a leopard will ever hunt a giraffe. Yes, but only ever a baby giraffe. It would take some serious effort for a leopard to kill an adult giraffe. I would say it is next to impossible unless there was something wrong with that giraffe already. Some game path that it doesn't really fit with where he disappeared, but it is a big game path. Might have popped out here. So we've seen shepherd's tree male actually with a giraffe in a tree twice. Both times it was a baby giraffe, obviously. And then I've seen a male and a female mating pair scavenge off a giraffe before, but I don't think it was one that they killed themselves. So yes, leopards do hunt giraffe, but it's quite unusual. I mean, in the time that I've been... The strip is bothering me. It's hitting this monitor. It isn't the greatest idea. In the time that I've been working in the bush and following leopards and looking at leopards, I think I've seen a giraffe in a tree once. Twice. Both times were in the Mara. Crazy. Both times were shepherd's tree male, actually. They can also hunt buffalo, but again, it would have to be a baby buffalo. I don't think he's crossed here. But just in case, we'll go up towards the gate and back again. He's done us a dirty. He's gone and settled himself down on a termite mound or found a warthog that he wants to hunt or something. But he's well and truly abandoned us. I'm going to do one more loop and then I'm going to leave the area. It's a bit frustrating because I think there's a chance he might have a kill in there soon. Alright, I'm going to keep searching for the hook himself. You didn't get a very good view of him this morning. While I do that, let's go across to Patrick's lions, who are apparently not mating right now, but sleeping.
Well, good luck searching for the hook there, Jamie. Perhaps he'll pull a Stivovo and show up when you're looking at the other direction. That was still hands down one of my favourite SafariLive moments this year. It had me in tears. That was so great. So, still not much movement from these two lions at the moment. We've been here for a while now, and they haven't really done much except get up and walk around. So the male is still following the female around. Definitely interest there, but so far, no mating has occurred. I'm sure if we stay here long enough, they will, though, because they do mate very frequently throughout the 4-day estrus period. Sometimes longer they will mate for, though. And it can be up to 50 times a day, so almost once every half hour on average, which is a lot. And they tend also not to feed during this time as well. So it's a very energy-consuming process for both the males and the females. And of course, not often this happens, but sometimes the male will have to defend the female. But I don't think this is going to happen in this situation. We do have the other male out in front of us, but they are from the same coalition, and coalitions tend not to fight over mates, especially if they do take over a pride. So these two grey-crowned cranes in front of me have come onto the scene, and that topi is still around shouting, so maybe that's why we're not seeing any mating, because they're just being harassed. The cranes, they were very brave. They landed right next to them and made a bit of a commotion before moving it back off to forage. It was actually quite funny. They just flew right over us. I'm not sure where exactly they came from, but landed right next to those two lions, letting the world know that they are there. And yes, we have this other one very flat. Now, still unable to get a proper ID. I do have a big hunch that it is the Kichwa males, but I do need to get a proper look at either the tail or the canines. One will be missing a canine, and the other will be missing a bit of its tail. And so I will be able to positively ID them if I can get there. Now, as for the female as well, we are more in Ulululu territory. This is right in their alley, and so it may be an Ulululu female. I know that there is a couple of females in the pride at the moment, or maybe just one that has cubs. But it does... it's a bit of a tricky one. Caroline is asking, could they be at the end of their mating time? Well, maybe. They may be, but I mean, I've been down this area quite a bit lately, and mating lions don't tend to move too far from their mating spots. It's a bit hard to say. We're just going to have to kind of stay and watch how this all plays out. I mean, from the looks of things right now, there doesn't seem to be a whole heap of interest from the female. She has been kind of getting up and moving away from the male, but he's right on the tail every time. They keep looking back as well. There's in the marsh behind, I can't see, it looks like they are buffalo in the distance there. Just to our left, in the marshes there. It looks like buffalo, yeah. But the female and the male both poking their head up and looking over in that direction. Yes, it is. It looks like a cattle egret there amongst them. It's actually a pretty little scene there, isn't it? The morning sun poking through. Sarah is asking, is it true that the males won't let the females eat during this time of mating? Well, they will both tend not to eat. I haven't seen or heard of any attempts from the male to completely prevent them from eating. But then again, as I said, I haven't seen or heard of this. That's not to say that it doesn't happen. I haven't even read anything about it. I do just know that both pairs tend, not both pairs, but both male and the female do tend not to eat or hunt during this energy expending time. So, while they are being a bit stationary, I might actually move around. So Jenica is asking, will the male or female end it first and move away? Well, towards the end, they are both very low on energy. Very low on energy, and kind of will both lose interest towards the end, and so one or the other may move off. Oh, I'm just having it's being a bit strange, a bit funny, the clutch there. All good now. So anyway, I'm just going to move off this way and just see if there is the rest of the pride hanging around. It might give a better indication as to who the female is. And I have seen them many times now in the morning down in this river bit, even yesterday morning, no, 2 mornings ago, I believe. Yeah, 2 mornings ago. And so I'll just have a quick poke in here and see if the rest of the pride is about. Another few vehicles coming in now to come and watch the sighting. Well, I do a very short search here for the rest of a potential pride. David is still on the hunt for the Sausage Tree Pride.
Well, yeah, but you just need to move and keep chancing on more luck. And that's exactly what I also did. And we are in the heart of what they call the Sausage Republic. Not sure which particular direction I'm going to start. But what I thought is I first go to the den of where the females gave birth and chance if they would have gone back there. Lions have been known to go back to the first place they give birth once in a while. And that's exactly what I want to do. And Bungay thinks we might be lucky. Kingtail, one of the females in that particular pride, gave birth in a place that we shall be in the next few seconds. We just have a 1-2 quick look, because you never know. And it's one place I kept going. There's the time I came here and I didn't see her, but I could just hear the cubs in the den just trying to like meow and making a bit of noise. So not sure, Bunge, you want to put the camera just to the left, just so they can browse. Sometimes the camera will spot things we don't see ourselves. Not a guarantee, but you never know. That's the area where Kingtail gave birth, in that particular spot, but in a little valley down there. But of course that doesn't mean she could be there. But I've sometimes used the strength of a camera maybe to spot something that our eyes may not see. Can I just hear some birds chirping and making noise? But apparently this same laga, as we would call it, like a valley, we have seen a leopard here, the shepherd tree leopard, because this is his territory and seems like there's nobody home. So we just need to keep moving. And now we need to look for buffaloes. We see buffaloes will chance a possibility of the lions getting close or being close to them for food. Others will need now to keep expanding our search areas from the very common or the normal territory we know for the sausage pride. So we need to expand our boundaries and look further away from what we think, because that is where they could be. Otherwise, I've always been saying, we could just be passing them right there in the grass. When we saw the other pride, the Salt Lake pride the other day, if we didn't know they were there, because we followed them for about an hour, while we closed the drive with them, they're in the middle of the grass, all lying flat. You could be like 3 meters away from where they were and just pass them. What you just had there, so the red-necked francolins, which I'm sure they're enjoying a lot of food because of the tall grass that we have at the moment. Elephants left and right. Every direction you look, you see Ellis. So, where are even the buffaloes this morning? I think I've seen enough elephants now. What I need to see are buffaloes. We did well with the giraffes a few minutes ago. I'm not sure, I don't remember the sausages bringing down a giraffe. They have always brought down wildebeest, zebras, and buffaloes. I can't remember them having brought down a giraffe. Well, let's go back to South Africa, to Sydney, because I'm sure he's doing anything possible to search for the Nkuhumas.
I am now back again in Juma, and I was just by the Shitwa there where we saw the giraffes earlier. The Nkuhumas disappeared by one of the private properties there. So the tracks, they're just going everywhere around that area. Maybe they might catch something, or they've already caught something. So back here, I'm looking for the spotted cats now. Maybe we might be lucky with Kalamba around here, if not Tandy. Yeah, this morning the weather is so nice and cool. It's not windy at all, and the sun is not too much. Maybe somewhere around the central part of Juma is where we might be lucky with Kalamba, because Kalamba is now full-time somewhere around Muluwati and Central. So from here where I am is where mostly Tandy is spotted. But due to this tall grass and these thick bushes, it's not easy. It's never easy. Oh, look at that. There's a very beautiful kudu. So there's a very beautiful kudu behind these bushes. Look at that. It's coming out now. Look at that beautiful, nice and healthy looking female. So if you look at the back, you will see that everything is brown. But if this kudu lifts up the tail, underneath the tail you will see the bright, fluffy white hairs. And that one serves as a follow me sign. So this is the only kudu I am seeing at the moment. So let me just pull forward and see if we cannot see the other kudus around here. Kudus normally, they are not solitary. You will find them with the others. She is just here. You can see she's so very much inquisitive. Look at those big ears. She's trying by all means to pick up all the sound. So the big ears helps them to collect a lot of sound so that they can hear the predators stalking them from a very long distance. So you can see those stripes are nice and clear, and the mane behind the neck is also clear. So which means indeed she is on a very good condition. There's another one in front here. I saw the other one. As I indicated, the kudus, normally you will find them. You can see now there is a very beautiful big female right in front here. Look at those ears now. Look at what the ears are doing. Look at that. So you can see there's quite a lot of ticks inside the ears because those are the fresh parts the ticks can be able to get hold of. And animals find it difficult to clean themselves in those ears. So the oxpeckers is the one who does cleaning. So now let's go back to Jamie, who is also looking for hukumori.
I'm glad I don't have ticks in my ears. I have had ticks in my ears before, though. They find their way into all sorts of unexpected and unwelcome places. I've still got a very itchy tick bite on the top of the ridge of my ear. Oh, it's an elephant. Thought I saw something large and grey, but you never know these days. Gendre? The sky is blue and I owe you an apology. I have sincere regrets about this silly, silly roof. Well, there's a bottom of an elephant. And from the movement of its tail, we can tell that it is relaxed. And from its size, we can tell that it is a male elephant. It is, of course, also on its own. See the way the tail is swishing side to side. And that is about the limit of what we can tell from looking at an elephant's bottom. Well, actually, that's not true. I mean, I suppose we could sit here for a while and try and guess the age of the elephant based on the amount of undigested food that comes out with its dung. But that really is taking things a little too far. This is like a children's book. Guess that animal. And then you unfold the page and it says, that's right, it's an elephant. You know what I mean? I know what I mean. I don't know if madness is catching. I'm pretty sure this comes from Gendre at the back here, who's been burning the candle at both ends and who asked me to drop him off at sleep. earlier. So, you know, poor dude's a little exhausted. Should we try and see if we can undo the flap and see what animal it is? Let me go forward a bit, and then, unfortunately, Genre, we're going to have to go that way past the pole. How's that? Guesswork? Ah, here's another clue, kids. Here's a little bit of its eye and ear. Can you guess what the rest of the animal looks like? Hint, it's got a long nose. I'm not sure what more to do with this. It's on Buffle's hook. He shows absolutely no sign of any intention of coming this way. Ah, Jessica would like to know if there's any news of Bad Boy Daryl, who, of course, is an elephant renowned for spending quite a bit of time around the camps. No, actually, I haven't heard news of Daryl in quite a while. He certainly isn't around Buffle's Hook, and he hasn't been around Juma. This is not Bad Boy Daryl. I mean, we have to hope that Bad Boy Daryl doesn't have any influence over the kids. You know, we don't want them falling into bad company. Bad Boy Daryl likes to smash over fences and eat trees that he's not supposed to, and pull them down onto cars, and then chase people around for the fun of it. That was such a cool hyena whoop. You wouldn't have been able to hear it. It was too far away. But it was a really long one. Ooh. It's such a long, drawn-out whoop. Somewhere down around Gallagher Pan. Ooh. I knew I wanted to go somewhere. Chaos says that this is amazing camouflage. You know that as soon as the camera comes off, he's going to walk out. No. Yes. Maybe. Still haven't guessed what animal this is? Well, here's a bit more of him. Here's another hint. He likes to eat plants. I give up on this elephant sighting, Genre. Aww. Wait, hold on. That's right, everyone. It was... Oh, he stopped behind the bushes. I thought we were going for the big reveal there. But we've uncovered another part of him. We've gone from bottom to ear, to top of head, to trunk. Now there's a tusk. And now he's gone. And we are back to the bottom. Cool. Well, that was enthralling. Let's carry on. I want to go and look and see if there's a leopard around Mvubu Road, Voyatella Dam. I seriously thought about the hyena den, but I've ended up on the other side of the reserve, and what I find is that if one rushes off with a set plan in mind, even to the point of racing from one side of Juma to the other, it doesn't pay off. It really doesn't. Inevitably, invariably, when you get there, the hyenas are all gone, and you've driven past stuff on your way to get there, and it's all for nothing. So I'm too far away, so I'm just going to continue on with a makeshift plan on this side. While we search for another feline for Friday, Patrick, of course, already has his Friday felines.
Felines indeed. So I did go and check around for the rest of the pride, and to no avail. So where they are or what they are up to is anybody's guess. And unfortunately, as I moved off, there were apparently a lot of other vehicles on the periphery of where I am that have all moved in, and so now there is already too many vehicles in this sighting, and so I have been pushed to the outskirts. So this was a sighting I found, and unfortunately now I have been pushed out, so I guess it must be like what a predator feels like when they have made a kill and then it gets stolen off of them from others. But that's all right. We still can see them here and still no real movements at the moment. So, yeah, it's a funny situation we have here. And the fact that the other male is just sitting on the outside of them, I have actually seen videos of males taking turns when it comes to female lions mating. I wonder if that will happen here. But yeah, still very flat this morning. Well, it is interesting that they haven't really shown any signs of mating or anything yet because, yeah, as I said, they do tend to do it quite frequently. Oh, sorry, the sun's just right in my eyes there. I'm just going to move my head back a bit. Yeah. So, generally, when we spend about an hour around mating lions or a potential mating pair, we will end up seeing at least something, even more towards the end. But as I said, I think this is pretty fresh because I did see these two males not too long ago, only about 3 days ago perhaps, and they were definitely not with a female then. And I don't have any real ID features to go off, but this does look like a female I saw the other morning. Then again, lionesses are notoriously difficult to distinguish from one another unless you have some proper defining features, and we just don't have that for the Olololo Pride. Cal6 wants to know, where are my Owinos? I am asking myself the same question. I've been searching and searching and searching for them for the last 5 days now. Every time I've been out, I've been up there and had a look and just haven't been able to find them. I've been finding plenty of lions there, but it's been that one male and the 4 young males that have been the only lions I've found in the Owino's territory. I am going to have a look today as well after we are probably wrapped up here, or even if these mating lions don't end up mating, I'm going to head up and have a good proper check for them again. It's a bit hard to say where they have gotten it to at the moment, and there's only one way to find out, and that is to look around. I have been in contact with some other guides as well to see if they've seen or heard anything, and just no luck. So I have to say I'm starting to get a little bit worried. It's like having my family missing at the moment. They are definitely a pride I'm feeling very connected to at the moment, and when we are out here, it's almost like animals become our human friends. They're a source of joy, they're a source of entertainment, and getting to know them and their personality, so it's quite great. And unlike humans, they can't be mean towards us, although they can hide from us and not let us know where they are. But as I said, I'm not giving up on the Owinos. I'm still going to be looking almost every day that I am out here because I've become very attached to their story. And I would really, really like to know what is going on with Butternut and her cubs. This lioness here actually does look like Butternut, but we are quite a way away from the Owino territory, so it's pretty unlikely. But if it was, that would be a bad sign for her cubs. Male lions will commit infanticide, which is the killing of cubs, if they are not their own and they want to mate with the female. So in the wild, females will mate every 2 years or so. I mean, not mate every 2 years ago. Sorry, give birth every 2 years or so. But if infanticide is committed... Oh, are we on? Are we on? I thought there was a little bit of interest there. But yeah, if infanticide is committed, then they will only come into estrus 2 or 3 weeks later. and so this is advantageous for the male lion. Anyway, we will sit with these potential lovers for a bit longer, but David Gadu is also here in the Mara. Let's see what he is up to at the moment.
Well, just like Patrick with Oinos, it's the same with me, with sausages. And I would say the sausages got a very special place in my heart. And I remember the last time before I went home, that pride, I remember counting about 9 cabs in them of very different ages, you know. And it's just like going to a school where you get kids of kindergarten, primary school and high school all together playing, and you as a teacher just watching them play. That's how sometimes I view the sausage tree pride. For those of you who may not know what I'm talking about, is my favorite pride of lions, and we call them the sausages or the sausage tree because they have been known to love to climb trees, and in particular the sausage trees. Sausage trees are also types of, the iconic trees we find here in the Mara. And any times when it's either too hot for them or there are too many bugs in the ground, in the soil, they have been known to climb up there just either to cool off or to run away from the bugs. Now, this is their home. This is their territory. And I think there's a quick link to someone. Okay, let's go to Pat very quickly.
All right, so we have our first mating event. So the female did just get up and there was a little bit of the chase, but there we go. So that was a bit of a half-hearted mating session there. We didn't even see the swipe from the female. A lot of the times when the male does mate with the female, there'll be a bit of an aggressive swipe straight after, but that one was, a little bit half-hearted, and then the female characteristically laying flat on her back afterwards. But there we go. So we are off. Ooh, so I've just been told by Nikki Austin, one of our producers, that the female is missing the tip of her tail. This doesn't really help with identification, but it is good to see a bit of characteristics there. Now there we go. So the first copulation that we have witnessed today. And I'm sure there is going to be many more. So it does just confirm that this is in fact a mating pair, a committed mating pair. I wonder what the other male is doing hanging around with them at the moment. I wonder if he's going to try and take a turn. And usually we hear a bit of noise as well coming from both of the mating lions, but yeah, that was not a very enthusiastic mating event right then. As I said, it is a very energy-consuming process. It's very tiresome on both the male and the female. So these two will probably stay resting for a while now. And so let's go back down to South Africa, where Sydney has found something with some very big eyes.
I have got something very much special this morning. Look at that. Look at the beautiful pink eyelids. Look at that. This is so cute. And this is how you can distinguish between the giant milky owl, the giant eagle owl, also commonly known as the Verax's eagle owl these days. You can easily distinguish between this owl and the other owls just by looking at those eyelids, beautiful pink eyelids. So they are very much opportunistic hunters and much more active at night. But look, now is a time for this owl to relax. This is quite a beautiful shot. Thank you very much, Craig. This is great. Look at that. can be able to turn his head all the way down and look at us. So these kind of birds, the owls are so well equipped, and their feathers are so very much silent. So they can be able to silently land on the ground and catch something. And the ears is so interesting because the position of the ears on the owls is not at the same level. And they also pick up different frequencies at the same time, whereby you will hear that the left ear is hearing something from the right different at the same time. They also pick up some of the noise by a special part. It's a flesh which is called operculum. Operculum helps them to pick up sound coming from behind. So this owl is so camouflaged. You can see he's on top of the tamboti tree. But if you look at these owls, if you don't consider these white bits which are showing there on the wings there, it's difficult to tell if this is a bird. Look at that. Sometimes they even extend the feathers here on top of their head so that they can collect noise nicely. As I am also in love with these owls. Look at that. So they can be so camouflaged. And you can see it doesn't have any false eyes at the back. But just look at the way how he turns his head when he's looking back at us. It's amazing. So there must be another one because mostly you will see them as a pair. There is milky owl. You can see that now he is turning his head from the other side. So there's quite a lot of birds making noise at the moment around here, but I am not hearing any of the alarm calls. Lee, these owls normally they nest by these very big trees. The thick trees, which are much dark, which can be able to hide them easily, is where they nest. Owls sometimes, they also nest by the very big holes by the trees. Normally, by the trees is where they are nesting. So if they've got a very big hole in there, is where they nest and also hide their little ones. You'll see their little ones very much camouflaged in there. This owl is so beautiful. Look at that stripe by the face. This is so beautiful. It's like he's listening to what I'm saying at the moment. So if you look at the owls, the head of the owls is very much... The head of the owls is very much small like these other birds as well. If you check at the pupil, the owls unfortunately cannot move their pupil. So their pupil are fixed. That's why every time they must have to move their ears. They must have to move their head. So the head of the birds is there in order to accommodate their large pupil, which is different from us. Our head, the skull, is much more suitable to accommodate the large brain. So they have got a head with a small brain, but which is there in order to accommodate the pupil. So the sockets are much big. So now let's cross over to the Masai Mara where Patrick is having the sleepy lions.
Well, we were able to get some positive IDs here, which is great. So the other male, which has now moved off into the shade and right out of our view, is a male lion, a Kichwa male, just as I suspected. And this one is called half-tail because it is missing... Well, it's not actually missing its half of its tail. It's missing it just the tip. And the other one then, by process of elimination, must be Fang. So we know now that we have Fang, one of the Kichwa males, who is mating with a still unknown female, suspected Ulululu, but not confirmed. But it's good to have a little bit of insight there. It's good having such distinguishing features such as the tip of a tail missing, because the tail tip is not going to grow back. Sometimes scars can change, nicks can change, you get deeper or change shape, but for the tail, that is not going to regenerate, and therefore we can tell that it is definitely the male lion half-tail. Very good stuff. And then, yeah, so there are 2 Kichwa males, a well-known coalition down here around the Kichwa airstrip area. But still, the mystery is surrounding the female now, which pride she is from. Now, it's not always going to be that she will fall completely pregnant straight away as well. Sometimes she may need to go through a few estrus cycles. So, excuse me. Oh, just had a yawn stuck in my throat. So the females are polyestrus, and that means that they have multiple estruses. The actual mating structure of the lions is also polydandrous. So we have polygyny. Well, these are different forms of polygamy. So polygamy is obviously when there is multiple mates. So polygyny is when there is multiple males. No, sorry, when a male will mate with multiple females. There's polyandry, which is when the female will mate with multiple males. And then there's polydandry, which is what the lions are, because multiple females will mate with multiple males. Also can be labelled promiscuity. So that's just a quick rundown of the few mating systems that we have. There is also monogamy, which is seen in the grey-crowned cranes that we saw just before, and that is obviously mating for life. And, Penguin on Safari is asking if a female is on estrus and there is no males around, will she seek them out? Well, so as I said, estrus is kind of induced by the males, not completely induced by the males, but it will generally be brought on by the presence of males. So that tends to be the case when it comes to lions. So she won't really ever need too much to go out on her own and seek out a male, like we do see in the leopards. Oh, I just got a fright. There was a car coming up behind me, but just I don't know, it was just a little bit out of earshot, and it sounded like a dog panting right behind me. That was quite strange. So sorry if I sounded a little bit taken aback then. But I think now that we have seen a mating event, it's time to go and look for the Awinos. Joy in Hong Kong, no, the Kichwa Coalition is just these 2 males, Fang and Half Tail. So yeah, just the 2 in this coalition. It's, yeah, I mean, generally a coalition size will be between about 2 to 4 males. Occasionally we do see some up to 5, but things can start to get a little bit more complicated when there is more mouths to feed and less mating to be had. Yeah, so we'll tend to see here in the Mara coalition sizes of about 2 to 3 on average, such as the Kichwa, the Eldonios, and there's the Musketeers as well. That's 3, obviously. Well, I'm not sure if I heard this right. I'm going to go search for the Owinos. It sounded like I just heard that Jamie's looking for camels.
Okay, Patrick is going off in search of his Owino ladies, having caught up with the Kichwa males. So we have found tracks of a leopard coming to, or going to, towards Wetela Dam, but past there now. And my thinking, looking at the tracks and looking at the way that they are starting to literally blur a bit around the edges, my thinking is that those are the tracks that came through last night, the animal that came through last night. And, oh, mine is at a little party back there. Just see their feet everywhere. And I think that the leopard then walked past behind the dam wall, because I don't believe it was seen on the dam camera, and then up through past our camp. Oh, apparently Pat heard from me that I was looking for camels. Well, I don't know what to do with that either. You never know. Who was the camel? Wasn't there a song about a camel? There's definitely a song about a camel. Something about a hub. And there were two, and then there were three. What was the song? From our childhoods. Maybe it was just my childhood. Maybe I... One hump. That's it. Da 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 da. One hump. And I can't remember the rest. Da 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 da. Two humps. Da 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 da. Two humps. I'm not looking for camels. I would be sublimely... I would be overjoyed if I found a camel. I would also be very confused and probably a bit concerned, because it would probably bring in all sorts of diseases that don't belong here. Camels are not naturally wildly occurring in this area. And of course, you know, Australia's got a massive problem with those feral carrols. Feral carrols. Everyone hates feral carrols. I just got this picture of little orphan carol singers wandering the streets with stealing from people. It's actually quite a sad image. Feral carols. I have to go through a no signal dip, Nina. I'll do it as quickly as possible. Feral camels are a big problem in Australia. They look terrifying, to be honest. I've ridden a camel. Hold on, let's go through this dip first. Hold on, Nina. Don't go anywhere. It'll be okay. Should all be okay now. Are we good? Are we okay? No? Sounds terrifying. We good? I did it so quickly. Surely we must be okay. Okay, all is good. Alright, so what was I talking about? Camels, yes. They seem to have an inordinate amount of joints in their legs, what I discovered when I first rode one. And it sort of unfolds with a great many levers as it stands up, and you sort of go donk, and you hit your head on the hump in front of you, and then you go blah, and you nearly fall over backwards, and then you go donk, and you hit your nose again. That's what I remember my one experience of riding a camel. And that's my sole experience of camels. Fascinating animals. I mean, the way that their feet spread out in the sand and all that. Actually, you know when last I saw camels? I don't know how I ended up getting. Thank you, Patrick, because you've given me something to talk about while I occupy my brain with looking for a leopard and talking without my brain really engaging. Last time I saw camels was in Watamu in Kenya over Christmas, and they came past all wrapped up in Christmas decorations, and there was a Santa Claus on the beach, and there were a whole load of little kiddies who were then getting their presents from Santa Claus on a camel on the beach. It was very pretty. I got a photo actually somewhere of a camel all decked out in grandeur. Jean-Andre, will you look for the leopard? I'll scroll through half a year's worth of photos. Okay, that was Uganda. So after that, was it? Oh my word. Before I've showed you the camel. Do I have to send you somewhere? I think I do. Oh dear. Okay. Look, there's the camel. Okay, quickly look. There's the camel. Off you pop across to David, who is in Kenya, where I saw this camel. And apparently he has a surprise up his sleeve.
Well, after 5 days of searching and combing all the grass of the Sausage Republic, they are finally here. And these are the sausages. I am one very excited gentleman, and Bungay is saying today we must toast a drink and have some apple juice tonight. I do not know where these girls have been for the last 5-6 days. I would say, well, I've personally been looking in for 5 days. And before those 5 days, there was in like 5 days earlier. So we're talking about almost 2 weeks of search. And it reminded me of one thing here in the bush: patience and being persistent. About an hour ago, I was talking of how we should keep trying, we should keep coming here, we should keep coming to the Sausage Republic, because they had not gone anywhere. They had just taken a different location. It's the first time I'm seeing them here. Well, I've seen 3 females and 5 cubs, and one of the females is the very famous Kingtail. Not sure where they want to go. And you see, the challenge I've been saying, if you don't see that small little head that you see there, it's practically impossible to see them. Thank you very much, all of you, ladies and gentlemen, that we have finally been able to catch up with this particular pride. Now, ideally, we shall know from now going forward what area they are in. And as I have just said, this is the very first time I'm seeing them here. So I just want to move forward a little bit and find out whether we could see the cubbies. And they're full of either mud and they've got wet faces. Not sure they had a kill or, they ate something last night. But let's see. Oh, they've been playing on some termite mounds because they look all very muddy on their faces. And we got one just in front of us there in the grass. See how high the grass is. And unless you look very carefully, it's very easy to miss them. Now, will you want to go on top of that termite mound? Of the 3 females, I have identified 100% Kingtail. We'll be finding out who the other 2 are. It's just one member of the 5 girls. For those of you who could be joining us now, this is the Sausage Pride, David's favorite pride. And hello, where have you been and where have you made our life so difficult the last few days? The good news, if you look at them, look at that female, they look in very good shape. You want to jump on that termite mound for a couple of seconds? Why do you look nervous? Is the height of the grass? What are you looking at? Definitely no prey in size, but from the look of her face, she is either trying to locate the cubs or, one of the other female members of this pride, or something they might have seen that they didn't like earlier. Good. I wanted you to go right there and that beautiful position to be in. And I would easily tell you, Asante Sana. What a nice position. Warming up, blending in also very well. So either way, my initial plans were to move forward a little bit. So I want to try and go around this particular female and see whether we can catch up with Kingtail, because Kingtail has the cubs. Bungay, you allow me to move forward slowly. Just very slowly. The grass is quite high. So she is there, and as I just said, they look in very good shape. I mean, I don't know what they have eaten, but just to see them is a lot of joy, and to see them looking good, bellies full, that's what we call, or what I would say to the sausages, Hakuna Matata, right? Now, Kingtail is leading the other 2 girls on a little walk. Not sure where they want to go. So once they get her, There's a little termite mound also in front of us. She might choose to go on top of it. And if she does, I would also imagine the cubs will do the same. Now let us show you the leader of this particular pride who is in front. And I would call her a fearless leader. Things she does, how she manages this particular pride, she is just wonderful. She got a class for herself. So the one in front there, that is Kingtail. And as I said, she looks in good shape. And we call her Kingtail because if you look on her tail, she got a knot on her tail. Not sure what might have happened. We have always thought maybe when she was young, she was bitten by either another lion or whatever it was, and then maybe she never recovered perfectly well, but that has never hindered her from hunting or living a normal life. So I'm imagining the cubs. See what we're seeing for the adults. Definitely the cubs. We cannot see them, but they're in that grass somewhere, and most likely between the two girls, if not behind them. I would only hope they'll go in an open area or a place with the road or climb a termite mound, and they'll be able to see the cubs. Linda, you are wondering if the smallest cubs are still here. I have seen one cub, and I think that's small size, and I'll tell you, I guess she is still here. Linda, I was away for quite some time, for about 3 weeks, and when we got here, we were very lucky. For a couple of seconds. We saw 3 cubs. Not sure, Linda, you're watching, but we've seen 3 small cubs, and I think they belong to Kingtail. So yes, Linda, those small cubs are still here. So we're going to follow them up a little bit, slowly, and if they're going to take us in an open area, Linda will be able to confirm to you 100% that the smallest cub of them all is here. I'm sure you remember that's one small little cub about a month and a half ago when, she came so close to where I was, and she was just calling and just, coming towards the vehicle, which was quite an exciting sighting to see. So that direction, about half a kilometer from here, there's a road there, and if they go there, that would be very good news. Most important, I have seen them, and I have seen where they are, and I think I am now full of joy to have lions. Not sure whether Sydney is still frustrated with the Nook homers or not.
The Unkuma pride is hiding. The tracks got disappeared somewhere just by the Chitwa area, and here where I am now, I am alternatively looking for Kalamba. So maybe we will be lucky with Kalamba here where I am, because she has been spotted in this area on several occasions here for the past few weeks. It's just that Kalamba is still very much small. So in terms of the size, the height is still very low. It's difficult sometimes to see her in the middle of the bushes. So, but I'm hitting 2 birds with 1 stone, because here also Tandy likes this place. So trekking this morning is quite easy because it was drizzling before we have started, meaning that all the tracks we see now are fresh because they're all after the little bit of rain. So only the hippopotamus tracks. So it means the hippos, they are moving around a lot according to the food availability all the way to this side. So now let's go back to Patrick, who is looking for the Olololo Pride.
Alrighty, well, it turns out it most definitely wasn't camels that Jamie was looking for. I kind of already knew that. It's just, it was animals that was said in my ear, but quite humorous nonetheless. Whoa, hello, Big Ellie. That took me by surprise. So I'm just heading around the corner from where I have. I've heard there is a rather large pride of lions not too far off. Jumbo, just got to be let through this gate here. Sunday. Yeah, so just up the road from where we were with those mating lions. So I'm just going to see if I can catch up with them for some last minute lion action. So I'm suspecting it would be the Olololos, considering where we are and considering the fact that I was told that it was a large pride of lions. I can see a couple of cars up ahead of me. Perhaps this is where they are hanging out. So do bear with me whilst I make up some ground here. I'm not seeing any little golden heads yet. I'm really hoping that if it is the Ololoros, that we do get to see some little cubbies. I haven't seen lion cubs for about a week, even longer now, and I am definitely needing my cuteness fix. Well, I was actually very, very stoked to hear that David has found the Sausage Tree Pride. Let's go check in with them while I just get a better look at these lions here.
Wow, I am still celebrating my day, and I'm sure Bunge is going to help me celebrate, and all of you nice viewers, because look, they have come out on the road, and that's exactly what I wanted. Sorry, Bunge, I didn't mean to move the car. It was my foot. And we got 3-4 cabs there at the moment. And just see how playful they are. And that's one of the females that we'll be finding out which female that is. Whether it's meaty. Kingston is the one that's just swinging or flicking her tail up. You see that one now, you can see the side. That's the famous Kingtail. And I'm very convinced, as much as we see slight ribs of Kingtail, that belly looks good. They are well fed. And see how playful they are. Especially the cabs. This has made my day, I would say my week, because for about 2 weeks they have been missing in action. And personally, I've been looking for them for the last 5 days. And to come out in the road is pretty special. Now, one female have stayed behind, and I think that's why they have stopped to wait for her. Because what they did, they just frog marched them and did a small loop to come in front of them to see as they would walk towards us. But they have stopped there. My guess is they want the other female to come and join them. Janice, you say your heart is melting. I would say, well done. And that, or those, are very good words. You could not tell me something better, Janice, than that. And if yours is melting, not sure what to say about my heart, but I think mine has been blown away by this Sausage Tree Pride. I'm sure you all love them. Personally, this, oh, look at that one holding the baby by the mouth. Wow. See, look, that's Kingtail. She's holding one of the cubs by the neck. How special is this? Is that cool? Bunge, would you like me to move forward 5 meters ahead? Bunge, if you'd allow me, because they're quite a distance from us, just give me like 10 seconds, Bunge. And we want to find out what Kingtail will be doing with that little cub in the mouth. We never invade them. We never get so close. They're quite a long way, and not sure why Kingtail decided to grab that cub by the neck. So let me know when and where to stop, Bungay. Are you happy there? Okay. Very good. I'm telling all these cubs, jumbo, jumbo, jumbo. So they're still watching one of them that's remained behind one of the females. She's fully grown. Not sure why she stayed back and not joined these other two. And those two cubs, they are having a wonderful time. They look a little dirty or dark because, as I said earlier, the grass is very wet and they have been jumping on Taman Mound. And the soil chemistry here of the Mara is the black cotton soil. So I'm imagining wetness on the farm and jumping on a black Taman Mound, they would end up looking the way they're looking. So either they want to go back for the other female, because I can see her from quite a distance. She's still in the same Taman Mound we left her. I'm not sure why she isn't coming to join them. Now, they're heading back in that direction, either to find out what could be wrong or why she isn't joining them. And the cubs have remained on the road and they are calling. See those two cubs there? And very quickly they're running to catch up with the mamas. And they're the two females. They're just looking at her. She isn't, well, she's come down of the Taman Mound because they can't see, or she's still there in the same Taman Mound. And she's looking in a particular direction there. And not sure why she doesn't want to join these two here. Yeah, Bungay will show you that one female I'm talking about. Now, that's the female I'm talking about. Janice, you say, boy, they are so dirty. Exactly, they are. Because last night, Janice, we had some showers. So the grass is full of dew. It's very wet. And now, once these cubbies move through the grass, there's a tractor there, and those are the guys who help us fix the infrastructure. So once they run over the Taman Mounds, and with the black cotton soil I've been talking about, they definitely look very mucky and very dirty. And I'm imagining these cubs at this age, they're very, very playful. So that's how they would end up looking like they've been rolling in mud to either cool themselves up, like how some of the herbivores will do, but definitely lions do not do that. But any Taman Mound, they'll climb because it's also wet. They'll pick that dark color in them. So I want to follow them slowly. Let's just move forward, Bungay. And that one lioness is stuck on that termite mound. And I'm surprised she's not following the two, because we have always seen Kingtail as their leader. She's the oldest female here, and I would say she is very experienced. So she tends to lead hunts. She tends to, when they have to make important decisions, she's the one who counts. So it's very interesting why that one have sat there, but after about moving for a couple of minutes, Kingtail has made a U-turn to go back to that particular female. And so let's see why she is not coming to join these two, or where she is. Could they be having a kill that we might not have seen? So let's slowly read their body language. And this has been a lovely, lovely day. Hukumuri in South Africa, Patrick with lions, and I think I might try to claim the biggest prize. I could be wrong, but I'm so proud to have seen the sausage tree pride finally. Bungay, let's look at these two girls and find out exactly where they want to go. There they are. So they're still walking, and in the lead is Kingtail. And what a lovely morning it has been, eh? Beautiful weather, great temperatures, beautiful sunrise this morning. And they're moving still in the grass. Well, ladies and gentlemen, many thanks for watching. And remember, I'll be out again this afternoon. Please remember to join us. And from all of us, thank you and goodbye.